Yo, what's up, guys? Just double checking, making sure that we're live and that everything is good. It's been a bit since I've done a live stream, so I want to make sure everything's working well. And also, this is my first time doing one without dual screens, so hopefully everything is good. Let me turn my music down. What's up, guys? What's up, Mana? What's up, John? Ty? What's up, guys? If you're here, put in the chat who you are. Also hit the like button too. Really helps to get this out. I would like to do more and more live streams with you guys. Usually there's like a good amount of people in the live stream, and then afterwards like the videos just kind of die, like YouTube doesn't pump them. But I would like to do at least one a week, and especially with how the market is right now, I would like to do maybe 2 or 3. What's up, Ivan, Mike, Mr. EC, Rory, Jafar, Grateful, Dean? What's up, bro? Dylan, Laura, what's up? All right, so this is kind of how we normally go through this. Normally I do go over Tesla, mainly number one, because the algorithm loves it. Number two, a lot of people, especially a lot of you guys, are really into Tesla, whether you're investing or trading. And then we'll kind of go over the rest of the market. What I want this stream to basically be is more of what stocks would I actually be buying here, because there are a lot of deals in the market right now, a lot. Some of them are really undervalued and could be massive, really good buys. Other ones could just be crap holes that are not worth investing in. You have to remember, just because something is being beaten to shit does not mean that it's just going to completely rebound and come back to life and you're going to make a ton of money, right? You have to remember that. Also going to talk a little bit more about like fundamental investing and long-term investing here. I know the channel's called Traders Helping Traders, but I want to talk more about long-term investing, because while I do believe that you can become a profitable trader, the truth really is 95% of people fail. And it's normally during these times when the market's not going straight up that a lot of people lose their ass. So we're going to go over that. If you guys have any questions, hit them in the live stream chat. Also hit the like button, and let me know if there's any tickers you want me to go over. If we have time, I will do it up. If we don't, then next time. So also too, if you guys could help me out and follow me on Twitter. I don't really care about having a ton of Twitter followers, but as the channel gets bigger and bigger, there's more and more piece of shit scammers, and I can't get verified on Twitter to, stop that from happening, imposters, unless I have a certain amount. So if we could get that up, like you guys, I put this in the video earlier this morning, I went from like 700 to 842. It's absolutely insane. You guys are amazing. So that would definitely help. And if you haven't already, check out our Discord community. It's completely free. The link is in the description. I say it every single day, but really it's a phenomenal community. Most of you guys are probably already there. Highly recommend it. And my goal is kind of to build a community that I wish I would have had when I started. So let me see. Rory said, I lost sound. Anyone else? Has anyone else lost sound? Lost my voice. Discord team is amazing. It's so worth it, dude. Hell yeah. I mean, that's kind of my goal. So let's go through Tesla. Let's talk about the market. Is anybody here? Let's kind of talk about this first. Is anybody here worried or freaked out? That's one thing I want to put out here. Is anybody freaked out or worried? I can hear you fine. Thank you. Cool. Because that's one of the biggest things. One of the biggest issues is for a lot of people freaking out. And a lot of it is because normally people are heavily margined and really worried, and they're investing or trading with money that they just don't have, or they're investing. Dude, you guys are already following me on Twitter. Thank you so much. It's got like 8 alerts. Or they're trading with money that like they really can't afford to lose. I have fear. Sorry, got it back. It's all good. Rory, hear you fine. Premium team. Dude, thank you so much, Dean. I have sound, worried. All my cash. Freaked out due to the market not finding a bottom. All right, so one of the biggest things I want to preface this stream with, and that I would like to preface every video with, is that at the end of the day, the goal is to not lose money, right? I don't care if you make a shit ton of money, right? I really don't. My goal is for you not to lose, because risk management is extremely important. I say this a lot, but because if you start out with $100,000 and it drips down to $50,000. You lost 50% of your portfolio. Well, if you lose 50% of your portfolio, to go from 50,000 back up to 100,000 is a 100% return, which is not easy. Some of you may have seen that happen in the past 2 years, but the past 2 years is not normal, right? The past 2 years is not how investing and trading works. So one of the biggest things I want you to get from this stream before we actually get started is to, number one, mentally do what you need to do in order to be able to sleep at night, right? That's the most important thing. Number two, if you have a shitload of margin and you're on margin, be careful. What will tend to happen, and this is something I'm actually really worried about with Tesla, and we'll talk about this in a bit. I never really talk about this because it's a fundamental aspect, but there are a lot of stocks that are big retail stocks. Like if we just go to like Robinhood and you look at like the top traded or top invested stocks, a lot of people use margin. And I don't want to make this a whole margin video, but I am a proponent and I am also against margin, right? Margin for somebody who is newer, if you don't know what you're doing, it can really screw you. If you're somebody who knows what you're doing, but you don't have a ton of capital, it can actually aid you. I mean, think of margin like real estate. Like you're not going to go out and buy a $400,000 property with $400,000 in cash. You're going to go put some down and basically margin the rest out. You know what I mean? So it's the same situation. You can use it to a benefit, but you have to understand that when the market starts shitting the bed, brokers will hit you with a margin call so freaking fast. Now, does everyone here know what a short squeeze is? We saw this happen with AMC. We saw this happen with GameStop, where basically institutional investors or any investor will go ahead and they will sell against. So they'll borrow shares against the stock. And if a call happens to where they have to cover their shorts, we all know what cover their short is. If they have to cover their shorts, they have to sell the bearish position and buy the shares. And if there's not enough shares there, they have to bid it higher, 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 and higher. Now, the inverse happens with margin. Let's say, this is all falsified numbers, but let's say there's like $100 million or $200 million worth of margin on like a super small cap stock, and a ton of people are margining out money. When a margin call happens, you have to either, number one, sell your shares, or number two, you have to put money into your account to stop, basically stop the margin call, which could cause flash selling. So the biggest thing with margin is you have to worry about margin calls. Okay. That's the biggest thing. And trust me, brokers will margin call. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are probably getting margin called now. Let me see. I'm worried margin will be a problem. Tesla has to get around 550 for a possible margin call. I haven't held anything overnight in a month. Ty, that's very smart. I'm worried about margin, Peter. Yeah, you have to be worried about margin. Margin, because you have to understand. Let's say that you have $10,000 in your account and you have 10,000 on margin. If the stock market, even if you're holding something like, let's just look at something like this, right? Like Amazon. Let's say you had long-term investment in Amazon and you had $10,000, but because of margin, you could buy $20,000 worth of Amazon. Well, Amazon is down 45% in 5 months, which means you're double what your portfolio value is. So you would actually be down 90%. But that wouldn't have happened because you would have been margin called already. So even on a safe stock, you have to be careful with a margin because you're going to get margin called very, very quickly. Let me see. Buy and hold concept, therefore, will not always be true. Also have a stop loss on your investments. Yes, I would always have a stop loss on my investments. Buy and hold, like a lot of people will get mad at me for saying this. Buy and hold does not work anymore. I'm not saying you can't buy and hold for 2 or 3 years, but you can't buy a company and hold it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years like Warren Buffett back in the day. With technology and with how our economy is nowadays, you can't hold okay, Netflix, if you would have bought Netflix 20 years ago or 10 years ago even, you'd still do very well. But imagine if you bought Netflix 2 years ago or even a year ago near their highs. Is it ever going to get back up there? Who knows? The landscape of even the streaming service network over the past 2 years has changed. Even 3, 4 years ago, Netflix was like the big and one of the only streaming services out there. You know what I mean? Now there's so much competition. So for me, I'd be worried. Okay. Let me see, Light Spirit. I started out with 70K back in 2020. Current account balance is 160,000. That's including a margin of 75,000. I used margin to buy real estate. 70,000 was originally real estate, but I had to use 70K on that Roni dip. Let me see. I had 132,000 in November 21. I only have 13,000 today. David, I am very, very sorry about that. Yeah. So that sucks. Now, when I first started trading, I went from 5 grand and I used margin. I built my account up to 50,000 and then I fucking lost it all. Like literally back down to like $2,000. So it happens. I don't know a single trader or a single investor, maybe some investors who are a little less risky than I am, who have not lost their ass before, right? What you have to understand is like, we're here, like David, I don't know how old you are, but we're here for the long term. Right? Even as an investor, we're not here for what happens tomorrow, right? When I'm trading even a 1 minute time frame and I'm day trading, I'm not here for what happens tomorrow. I'm here for the decisions that are going to allow me to be trading and to be around for a long, long time. And I'm down, if you guys are part of the Discord, like, you know, like I'm down right now about $46,000 in the past 4 months. Now, I made about $75,000 from November to February, and now I'm getting murdered in my long terms. But still, the goal is saving the cash that you have. How do you feel about today's trash rally? All crappy stocks go up. It's not. So here's the thing. It's not necessarily a trash rally. This is one thing I want to talk about too. So there is a lot of stocks. Also hit the like button too, because I see that there's 47 likes and 159 viewers. So we need to hit the like button to get this pushed out. So what you guys have to understand is big money never stops. So it's not even very rare. It never happens to where massive hedge funds just take all their money out of the market. They're constantly rebalancing. And on top of that, they're constantly rotating. So if you've ever heard of like sector rotate, right? They're constantly rotating. So you could see that when all of these small caps or all these tech companies were getting crushed, right? They're rotating money out of there. They're putting it into things like, what is uptrending right now? Oil, like ExxonMobil still moving up. Chevron doing very good, still moving up, like down days, past couple of days. MRK is doing very well. Banks are not doing too well, but they will rotate into banks, or I think it's TLT. Is that the Treasury? Yeah, the 20-year Treasury. This is not doing well, but they will continue to rotate into different things. So they'll continue to sector rotate. So when you see like the past couple of days, big cap FANG is getting murdered. Apple's down 8% in 2 days, right? For instance, looking at Tesla, which we're going to talk about Tesla. Tesla this week alone is down 20%. Well, what is up today, right? We have things like, if you're part of the premium Discord, it's only $25 a month. We called out Carvana. Let me see if I can actually just go back. It's gonna be easier if I just go here and go to alerts and updates, and let me scroll back. So I called out Carvana on the 10th, right? Carvana, 6/17/2022, $40 calls. These calls today were up 600%. Now, I didn't follow them because that's risky as hell, but we're seeing a lot of rotations. Like at one point today, Carvana was up 44%, right? Looking at Affirm, which I saw you guys talking about as well. Affirm up 43%. Shopify, which is not a small cap stock, but Shopify up 10%. A lot of these smaller companies are up because big money is rotating. So big money is focusing on rotating money into things that they think are extremely undervalued and kind of dropping out of other things that they're seeing. So let's we'll go through some stocks. Let me go through this real quick. Peter, would love to see some videos on how to sell to get a premium with low risk account using a volatility. Dude, yeah, we can definitely do that. I sell a lot of cash secured puts too. A lot of put credit spreads as well. Hello from Sweden. What do you think of Tesla going in the following few months? I'm down 14K, 6 shares. I will talk about that in a moment. I was looking at nothing but the performance of Tesla as a business, and I decided to invest in the information. AVG buy price 10.75. How is Tesla currently worth 30% less than it was prior? So here's the thing, like the market doesn't trade at current valuations, right? The market trades at future valuations or it trades off of fear. And that's what you like. Obviously, you look at the PE ratios of a lot of these companies; they're ridiculous. You look at the worth of some of these. Like, let's just look at use Shopify as an example, right? Shopify does have some issues with Amazon basically going straight after them, but like, did the business model change in the past 5 months with the stock plummeting 80%? Right? I don't have eyes on it, but probably not. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. You're not buying it for what the company is worth today. You're buying it for what you think the company can be worth in the future, right? And a lot of times these companies are very overvalued. David and Peter, when you say you've lost money, is it just paper or have you sold the stocks? Oh no, I was day trading back in the day. I know that money was gone. I mean, I've made it back obviously tenfolds, but no, that really destroyed me at the time. Not only did it destroy me financially, but it destroyed me mentally, and that's the most important thing. You know what I mean? What do you think Tesla will do when it nears a stock split? It depends on the market. It really depends on the market. If we're in a market right now where good news, unless it's insane earnings, is not even going to work out. Right? CPI was not that bad, and we still have shit the bed. One thing that could help a lot too is seeing stock buybacks, which we'll talk about probably in another video. I mean, who would have thought Tesla was going to go down after the extreme amount of deliveries in the fourth quarter? Fed raises, causing valuation of future cash flow to decline. All right, let's go through some stocks. Can you show us how to join the Discord for 25? I only see the 100. No, so if you just go to, if you're within the Discord, and you just go to, where is it? Upgrade. It's going to be this top one right here. So click the link below right here. I'll actually just throw it in the thing. So you get access. I don't really promote. I feel like I don't promote much because there's so many free things that we do have within our community, which is insane. Like, we're at almost 40,000. I think we're at 35,000 subscribers, which is freaking nuts. Like, we could fill Madison Square Garden, and it's insane. So I do want to say thank you guys for that. Now let's go into some tickers. If you guys want me, I did put the link to the upgraded Discord. You get access to all of my trades, all of our senior analysts like Tommy and Callan, Angel. It's just a phenomenal group to be a part of, and all of our other tools and resources, free courses. There's like a ton of shit over there. I highly recommend you check it out. Let's go through some tickers. So let's start with Tesla. Looking at these bigger time frames, like these weeklies and dailies specifically, is something that's extremely important to do during these times, because you have to get the bigger picture of where we are going. Now, looking at this, we've been uptrending basically since 2020. We talk about that a lot on this channel, so I don't want to harp too much on this major trend that was snapped. But looking at where we are trading right now, we have broken this trend, which is extremely important. Right? The trend is your friend. And I know that that's so stupid, but like, that's why I am bullish 90% of the time. I am no longer bullish. We have broken major trends across every single time frame. Looking at Tesla weekly, we are underneath this trend line. We have snapped far below it. On the weekly, there's not a lot of volume up here. Now, we do have a small support that you can see here at about $700, between 700 and 722. This was a resistance, 1, 2, support 1, 2 times. You can see today we plummeted through. We bounced back up. Also, thank you guys for following me on Twitter. I see a ton of you guys following now. And we're back up over 725. Now, where we currently are right now, I don't necessarily think that this is going to hold, right? I would like it to, but depending upon where the rest of the market goes, we could easily see that drop to $600. Now, if we zoom in on the daily chart, you're going to see where I'm getting those numbers from, right? So does anybody not know what this red line is over here? Does anyone not know what a point of control or a volume profile is? We can briefly speak about it. I use it in a lot of my videos, but if you don't know, let me know. We'll briefly talk about it because it's a very, very important tool. And honestly, if I could only have one indicator, I would be talking, like, it would only be that. Do you pay taxes when you sell to cover margin? You pay taxes on profits. So if you lose money to cover your margin, you don't pay taxes on it. All right, so this red line is your point of control. Point of control is the highest area of volume. Do you want to trade with volume or without volume? right? You want to trade with volume. Big money knows that too. No volume, we're going to move very quickly through those areas. So your volume bars that you see at the bottom of my charts here, which if anybody wants to, I'll just post this here. If anybody wants to know how I specifically set up my charts or how I trade or anything like that, no bullshit. There's a completely free course here. You're not going to get emailed every freaking day or anything like that. Like I think I've sent 4 emails out in the past like 4 months. I highly recommend you check it out. I'll post it within the within your chat. It's completely free. It's going to explain to you all, basically every single indicator that I use or that would be used. Posted it there. So looking at these volume bars at the bottom of your screen, that's going to tell you how many shares were traded within a day. Okay. What it's not going to do is tell you where the prices came in. So what these horizontal lines will do on the side of your chart is show you where the money is coming in at. And you can notice that where these thin areas of volume on the volume profile are, we quickly move through them, right? So when you see this move from 853 down to 800, that's a fast move because there's no volume there. So when we see a drop through support with no volume below it, big money's not going to buy it up till there's another shelf. I call them shelves of volume. There's a shelf of volume at 800. We snap that shelf. Now the next shelf of volume is at 685, which is like literally to a T where we bounced today, right off of 685. So there is a chance we can hold 685, but I ultimately think we're going to drop down to $600. $600 is not only a support from last time, but it's also where the point of control is. That is where I would personally feel safe. I mean, I already have $40,000 worth of Tesla that I'm down like $17,000 or $18,000 on, but that is where I would feel safe selling cash secured puts at or buying a ton. Worst comes to worst, which a lot of people are going to be like, there's no way that happens. We could see Tesla fall to 500. But for me, 600 is where like I would draw the line in the sand and I'd be like, I'm very, very confident buying Tesla long-term here. So that's for me where I'm looking at. And we'll see what ends up happening. Is point of control indicator on Tesla or on Thinkorswim. It's just called a volume profile. So you're going to get a volume profile and your point of control is part of the volume profile. So I really recommend using it. It's phenomenal. If you take the free course, it's got all of the lectures on that. And also hit the like button, guys. How can I put an indicator on a chart? It's dependent upon your charting software and your broker, but definitely just check it out. Use the link above to get access to it for free. When we see 800 for Tesla, we could, but all right, let's go to the broader market. Let's talk about the S&P 500 first. So looking at the S&P 500, if you guys have been watching this channel for a while I was bullish, because why was I bullish, right? Let's just talk about this first. I was bullish because we had not snapped the major trend. We have snapped major trend now. Like that's just part of it. We have snapped it. Now we're no longer bullish. But we've been talking about basically since December, this potential head and shoulders here that has become a head and shoulders. You have a shoulder here, head here, shoulder here. Neckline was at 420. We snapped 420. Look how low the volume was on the volume profile from 395 up to 420, dropped within 2 weeks down to support. And now we have a support here at 395. Why is this a support at 395? Can someone tell me why 395 is a support? And I'll answer some questions while I go through there. Let me know why that is a support. You do a video on retirement with Tesla. Hell yeah, Josh, I can do that for sure. I don't think anything is like a retirement investment, honestly, at this point, but I can definitely do a video like that. And how you could. What's your read on Amazon's next projected moves? We'll talk about Amazon. I fucking love Amazon here. It's insane. $25. What if I had capital gains last year, sold for a profit, but I have a loss this year? Do you have to pay taxes on last year's capital gains? Yes, you do. You do. Okay, so yes, please explain. All right, let's go. So the reason this is support is because an old resistance is going to act as a new support. So you can see that back here on February 22nd, 2021 and March 15th of 2021, we use this as a resistance. So an old resistance is going to act as a new support. Now looking at this chart, you can also notice if I draw the highlighter over here, there is a very thin area of volume profile or on the volume profile, but we get a thick band right here around 395. So this is a small support. This is not a massive support, but it is a small support. And judging by this head and shoulders, this could be the end of it. Now, if we snap 395, which we're under it now, but it doesn't matter where we go. It matters where the candles close. Okay. So we're currently over 395 or under 395. If we fully snap this and we close this week down at like 380, the next drop is down to like 340 because there's no volume below that level. And that will probably happen within 2 weeks. We'll probably see a panic sell of about 10% down to $340. A shit ton of people will get stopped out. A ton of people are going to get margin called, and then we're going to get murdered. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Where is the free course? Is it still in my thing? There we go. It's a free course right there. It's in the chat. So going back to Nima, who said, will we see $800 for Tesla? It depends on if the market bounces, right? It really does. At this point, the market is really not that, the market's not even undervalued. There are a lot of companies who have gotten their teeth kicked in, which we'll talk about some of them. Specifically, like if you look at basically anything related to ARK in ARKK, which we can talk about that if you want to. But, you know, looking at essentially the market's not that undervalued at all. Like if you look at from pre-COVID to right now, SPY is up 15% in 2 years. That's average, right? S&P 500 up 15% in 2 years. Average return is 7 to 9% return per year. That is average, right? What's not average is going up 41% in a year and a half, or from those COVID lows going up 110%. So is this a buying opportunity? Of course it is. Do you throw the house at this and hope that we rebound like a rubber band? I don't think so. Like, I don't. I think that if you're investing long-term here, it's a great opportunity for the market. But I don't think we're going to snap back to all-time highs in the next 3-4 months. I think 2022 is going to be a volatile, shaky year. You know what I mean? Personally. Okay, so volume, SPY 340, Tesla 600, that is the lowest I see. So a lot of people are like, where's the bottom? I can't tell you. Like I can't tell you where the bottom is. Where do I truly believe where the bottom is? The bottom is Tesla 600, SPY 340. That is where I would be backing up the fucking truck, and I'm not saying like I would, but I would bet my life that's where we hold. If we really break that, then we're really screwed. You know what I mean? I got my teeth kicked in. It happens to all of us, man. I got my teeth kicked in too. But here's the thing, like mentally, this is where being in the market for a long time happens, right? Like a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, he's so happy and so chipper. He's probably got so much money. Like it doesn't matter. Dude, it does matter. But it's like, I've just been around for so long. This is just how it is. Like, this is how the market is. So, and it's part of, like, I posted on Twitter earlier, but it's not a joke. I said, to everyone losing money in the market right now, this is part of the game. If you're going to live by the sword, I said love, I have to edit that. If you're going to live by the sword, then you have to die by the sword. And that's the truth. Like, if you guys are going to be like, not saying this in a derogatory way, but like, if we're going to be happy and posting profits and everything that we got in the last 2 years, like, you got to be here to get your teeth kicked in. Like, you have to die by the sword as well. It doesn't mean just like let everything go to zero, but like you have to be a part of that. Do you see a small reversal? Not yet. So a couple of things. Number one, looking at the daily chart, we did not get a divergence. Okay. Second thing, big money is not buying up stocks, right? Like, this is black box stocks. We had 2 alerts. PayPal is actually one I didn't even notice, but it's not like big money's buying these dips. Like, they're really not buying these dips right now. There was $150 million worth of calls that came through on Tesla, but if you look at the top bullish flow, 44 million of it was. So if we look at this, this is $100 million worth of calls being sold, which is bearish, right? Which I talked about a little bit in the video that I did this morning. So I don't think so, because they're not stepping in at this point, because we can't do shit. Like, we can't do anything to this market. We're just sitting here praying that the knight in shining armor / hedge funds are going to come and save us. That's what we're waiting for. Okay, let's go over FANG. Let's go over some stocks. And hit the like button, please. That would definitely help us out a lot. Coin just had, it was actually a pretty big dark pool. All right, so let's go through some stocks. Let's talk about Apple. We're going to be looking at the weekly charts here, and then we're going to move in on the daily. If you guys have anything else you're interested, and then I'm going to talk about what I'm actually buying or what I would be buying. I want to do a full breakdown. If you guys haven't already, I highly recommend you go to, I think it might be in the description. Just type in DeCarlo, my last name, capital. I post a lot of shorts over here. But I'm going to be posting a lot of my long-term investments here because it's been a very, very long time since I've been investing for the long term. So if you want like full company fundamental breakdowns, I highly recommend you go check it out. I'll actually just post it within the chat so you don't have to like search it up or anything. Because I want to do like full on breakdowns with that today. I mean, not today, this week. So there you go. All right, so let's look at Apple first. Looking at Apple, one of the companies that in this market is actually doing pretty well, down 21% in the past month. That's absolutely insane. Broke this upward trend finally. We're under the 50-day SMA. We fell down to support, holding 141. We're looking okay, right? If Apple snaps 141, the next drop is going to be down to 120 bucks. Now, when I buy a stock long term, I need a deal, which is why I don't really have much long-term investments until this week, right? Until this week, I really don't have a lot of long-term investments because I need a deal, man. Like I'm not going to, it's like buying a house. Like I'm not going to buy a house for market value. Like I need a deal and I need to be buying it for 50% of what fair value is. Currently, I'm using Morningstar, but all of these analysts, nobody is correct. But currently looking at Apple, fair value is 146 or 130 and last close was 146. So currently the valuation is still very, very rich for Apple. Apple is a phenomenal company. It would be a staple in my portfolio if I can get it at a good deal. But at this point, I'm not buying Apple long-term, right? I'm really not. How often do you do these types of videos? I really appreciate more videos like this. Dude, I can try. I mean, I want to try to do these at least once a week. The issue is if I put out a video that's like not Tesla, the algorithm's like, go screw yourself. So I can definitely do these live streams like at least once a week, preferably probably twice a week. It just depends on how many people want to be watching. But right now we have 300 viewers, which is pretty damn good. But yeah, we can do these more for sure. Live is great. Keep them coming. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, we can continue to do this. I really enjoy it too because I don't get to talk a lot about this stuff, you know, in a normal video that I put out. But yeah, so looking at Apple, overvalued. Honestly, it's a great company. It's a great long-term investment, but it's not a deal, right? Let's talk about something like Facebook, which I think is a really, really good deal at this point. It does warrant more risk, but I think this company is a really, really good deal. So if you look at basically how we've been trading currently, they have fair value at 380. I would say fair value is honestly probably like 290, 300. Very, very good balance sheet. Very, very good income statement. Really, really solid company. I think the issue is that this company, and I've been talking about this a lot, but I think that this company is focusing less on social media and focusing more on the metaverse. Like they are, so if you remember Apple, like 5 years ago, iPhone sales were slowing. They were not selling as many phones basically. And the company had to pivot into a more service-based industry, right? So then they created a lot of great services like Apple Music, a ton of different stuff. The other thing too, is that the company had to pivot into more wearables, right? 5-6 years ago, you didn't see everyone with an Apple Watch, right? You didn't see everybody with AirPods. You didn't see everybody with, you know, headsets or Apple CarPlay, like all of that stuff. You know what I mean? The company had to pivot. And looking at Facebook, this company is pivoting, right? Is the metaverse in the room with you now? Probably. Your teaching is so clear. Thank you. I can continue to do these live streams. I think they definitely help, especially when the market's how it is right now. Is PayPal a good deal? I think it is. We'll talk about that. It's very risky, but I do have it in my long-term portfolio here. So looking at Facebook, I think that this company, how long have you been trading and investing? 8 years. 8 years. Full time has been like 5. Um, so looking at Facebook currently right now, I think that this company is pivoting. I think this company is phenomenal though. This is a company, especially down at $180, I would be buying the living hell out of this company. And when you think, is this company worth a 50% fade in the past 5 months? Probably not. Another company that I phenomenally love is Amazon. If Amazon can get back to $2,000 tomorrow, I will buy the living crap out of this. I love Amazon. I think that they are taking over the world. Like seriously, from an investment standpoint, it's actually trading under fair value. Now they have fair value at $4,000. I don't think it's at 4,000. I'd say fair value is probably somewhere around like 3, but trading below fair value. I think Amazon is phenomenal. I would be buying the hell out of it at $2,000. Now let's talk about a company I hate. Netflix. I don't like Netflix at all. I really wouldn't touch Netflix. If you're a long-term shareholder, it's all good. For me though, I would personally not be, basically I would not be touching this at this point. When you look at Netflix, like I said before, the overall, thank you guys for all the kind words. I see a lot of you guys saying that. Thank you so much. What are the settings for your volume profile? I turn off the VWAP, I keep the volume profile on, and then I make it 1 year to date. Is Amazon a good buy, Kenneth? Yes, it is. Long term, it is. Yeah. Zen, do I think that Tesla will come to 600? I do. We'll talk about Disney too. Peter's the best Discord, top notch, part of his community, amazing price. Dude, thank you so much, Mike. Dude, you're the man. Dude, you put work in over there too. Seriously, thank you. But yeah, so overall, I don't like Netflix. The landscape has changed for streaming. The only thing that they offer is Netflix originals, which are phenomenal. They're great, right? But they burn so much cash to create their own content now, because you're not just buying a streaming service if you're buying Netflix, you're also buying a production house. So that's one thing you have to worry about. I would not be touching this, honestly. Microsoft, I'll just say this out here, phenomenal company. I love them. I still think they have room to fall. I wouldn't be buying Microsoft unless we hit $216, just because it's not a deal. Not because it's not a great company, but just because it's not a deal. And I need to be buying deals. Any other companies? Let's talk about Disney briefly. Disney through major support, 110. So Disney is a tough one. I think Disney is becoming more and more of a tech company with, the streaming. I think buying Disney right now is not bad at all, to be quite honest, especially at like $100. Is it going to be a massive, return over the next 10, 20 years? No, but I do think that they will do very well in the next 10, 20 years. Not anything insane. Ban on Disney will kill them. That is another thing you have to worry about too. Rivian, we'll talk about that as well. AbbVie, we'll talk about that too. Someone just posted Airbnb. We're going to talk about that. Airbnb, don't let me forget, Airbnb is like my fucking ace in the, if I had to buy a super risky company, it would totally be Airbnb. But yeah, and I like Uber too. We'll talk about that, Harrison. Looking at Microsoft, I love Microsoft. To be quite honest though, it's not undervalued enough for me to be buying at this point. Disney, risky, I would be purchasing it. Airbnb, this is a phenomenal company. Not necessarily phenomenal in like the financial state, but I think they're trading below market value or below fair value. I don't know what Morningstar has as fair value for them. 116. So I would like Airbnb at a cheaper price, but short term, I think the company will do well. We're seeing travel pick back up. I think that they're going to continue to do well all this summer. Like Airbnb's biggest issue is they just need more hosts, right? They just need more hosts. And they're in a great situation too, where like, it's kind of like Uber. Like they're not buying properties, right? Uber's not buying cars. They're just facilitating all of this. Gotta balance. Thanks for all your help, Pete. Join the private Discord group today. Hell yes, Raiders. Thank you so much. I love Airbnb. It is ridiculously risky. but I really, really like Airbnb. It is a company that I would personally be buying. Palantir, Submanian. Where do I start? I think, what is going on? There's a lot of Bank of America calls. Dark pools. I think Palantir is worth it at this price, as long as you're putting money in that you don't give a shit if you lose. That's the thing. Don't put money you can't afford to lose into Palantir. But I think Palantir is a really, 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 really solid deal here, long term. But this is a company that could go, you could lose a shitload of money. Like, you really could. This is not like a safe bet. But I do like Palantir here. I really do. Neo, we cover Neo a good bit on the other channel. I would personally not be investing long term in Neo. There are some trade opportunities from time to time, but I would not be investing in any Chinese stock long term personally at this point. I really wouldn't. It's way too risky. Looking at PayPal, I would be, and I have been buying PayPal. I've been buying PayPal not too aggressively, but pretty aggressively. Another company, not for the faint of heart, very, very risky. But still, it's something I would be keeping an eye on. I did buy a lot of that over the past couple of weeks. I'm currently down about like $2,000 on that position. Another company that I have been buying a lot of is Affirm, but Affirm is not a company that is a safe bet long term. It's really not. It's not a company that's a safe bet long term. I really would not be investing in that unless you're okay to lose money. One thing you guys have to understand, right now, my trading portfolio was up to $240,000. I don't throw a ton of cash into the market, right? My goal, especially as an educator, is to grow the portfolio with you guys, right? It's not to just, okay, I can throw 300 grand in the market tomorrow. That's not the goal, right? Because all of you can't do that. But currently, with all of my investments included, I have about $340,000 worth of cash in the market right now. So if I go throw $10,000 into Palantir, it's such a small amount of money to where if I lose that, it's not a big deal, right? So you always have to risk accordingly. Amazon 2K, good to buy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Do you still have my PayPal position? Yes, I do. I love PayPal. PayPal's looking good. It's very risky, but to me, it's worth the risk. Same situation with Square. Very risky, worth the risk. Massive divergence on the weekly. I think Square is going to hold here. We're going to get some nice moves up. Okay, so another position I currently have. We'll just go through all the positions I currently have at this point. GoodRx. This company just took a shit this week. I don't have a big position. It's about $4,000 long term, which relative to my $340,000 portfolio is not much at all. But this is a company I think could be massive in the future. Not doing too well right now, but I really like GoodRx. Another company that I currently have right now is Pinterest. Looking at social media, I really like where Pinterest is right now. Income sheet, balance sheet, everything is looking good. Nice divergence on the weekly. Good support here. I think Pinterest is another one, extremely risky, but worth it. SoFi, another one that I took a position in. Very, very risky, extremely undervalued. Could go to zero, but I really do believe in this company, and I will not be throwing the house at it because it's too risky to do that. But I really think it's worth an investment at this point. Uber. So I have Uber as well. I really, really like Uber. I really like it. I think that at the end of the day, Uber is one of those companies that it's going to take 5 to 10 years to get to the point that I think that they can get to, but it's something that I'm along the ride for. And I really, really like Uber at this point. I personally would be and have been buying Uber. Another company that I have not been buying, but that I would be buying is AVGO. Costco is another company that if we snap, 488, we'll see what happens, but that's not looking too bad. I actually have a whole long-term. Let me just post this actually. It'd be like a way easier to do this. Share. All right, let me know if this works. Click that link. Let me know if it works. That's my entire long long-term investment watch list that I'm looking to take some positions on in the next couple of weeks and or have positions on the next couple of weeks. Works? Okay, cool. Thank you, Big Nick. But yeah, so PayPal's on there. Palantir, very risky. That's on there. Twilio is a company I forgot about. Another company, ridiculously risky. I would be buying the hell out of this. I was buying Twilio at $100 like back in 2020. I love Twilio. Uber, Volkswagen, ridiculously undervalued in my opinion, but not a stock that you're gonna make big money on. Roblox, I have some Roblox right now. I wish I would have bought more. Another company, very, very risky, but very, very undervalued. I think it's very, very undervalued. McChicken, what do you think about Snapchat? Of all the social media platforms, I hate Snapchat personally. There are just some companies that, like, as a consumer, I don't like, but from an investment standpoint, I think it's extremely undervalued as well. I really do. Somebody asked me a good one. SPCE. So, dude, I did a lot of videos on SPCE when I started. SPCE is down at $5. This is not a company. This is not a business. This is an idea, right? It's just an idea. I would not be investing in SPCE unless you're willing to lose your entire position. I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying that it's one of those where you're gonna make 1,000% return on your money in 5 years, or you're gonna lose your ass. Costco below 488. Yes. VALE. We'll talk about that. Tesla will be competing with Uber. Well, here's the thing. Tesla will be competing with Uber with robo-taxis. They could be, but I mean, so when I look at Uber, let's talk about Uber. There's a lot to go through. I think we've already been on for like an hour. I don't know. I might have to take a piss too. If you guys want to continue to go. Also hit the like button too. All right, let's go over this. First time watching you, your options so far, but what do you think of Amazon of Africa, Jumia, and psychedelics of the future? I don't know too much about like MindMed or any psychedelics, considering I've done a lot of them, but I can look into it for you guys if you want. Let's see what else. As far as Jumia, I have to look into it, but the company is extremely beaten to shit. JMIA. Fubo is another one. I have to look into the company. I have not really done any analysis on it. So from a long-term standpoint, I can't say yes or no. What do you think about MELI? From a long-term standpoint, I don't know much about it. To be quite honest, it is extremely undervalued at this point, just by looking at the fact that we snapped the 200 SMA. We are at a good support at 722, but I'm thinking we can drop to $600 just looking at this from a technical standpoint. Okay, this is a good one. What do you, let's go over VALE real quick, because that's been called out multiple times. VALE, I would be buying it down at 14. Good 200 SMA, good resistance prior, looking very good. That's where I'd be buying it at. What do you say your top key indicators that you use for assessing a possible position? So I am very much not only in trading, but with life. I am very, I've done a lot of them. I have done a lot of them, honestly. Like doing psychedelics, like changed my life for the better in so many ways. Yes, Toby, I can totally do that. I actually have, if you guys go, I just talked about this earlier, but if you go to YouTube and you just type in DeCarlo Capital, this used to be my long-term investing channel. And it still is. I do have a lot. So you can type in like DeCarlo Capital, you can type in like a balance sheet. There's a ton of videos, but I'll do a fundamental analysis video in the future. If you guys want me to talk a little bit more about that on this channel, but let's go back to what we were saying. I don't really even remember. Talked about psychedelics. I don't remember. Okay, what we say are my top key indicators. So I am very much so a less is more type of person, right? For me, I like to use the less amount of indicators that I possibly can. You know what I mean? That's for me the best way that I like it. At the end of the day, the biggest things that I would use is just a 200-day SMA, a 22 EMA. Should do a Q&A about yourself, bro. I would A podcast at some point outside of the stock market will happen. And I got way too much stuff that I can talk about. For those of you who know my past and some other crazy stuff. But 200-day SMA, 22 EMA, and a volume profile. That's all you really need, honestly. MDMA is life-changing. Clean that is. Very true. Is VWAP really important? Only for day trading. I don't really use it too much unless I'm day trading. I use a 15-minute ORB better. What do you think of Lucid? Long-term, not something I would invest in. Potentially, it's not something I would really touch at this point. I think Tesla robo-taxi will replace the whole taxi industry. I don't know. Honestly, like, a lot of people are going to get pissed with me about this, but like, I can't trust Elon on AI or robo-taxi. Like, every year, it's like, another year. I don't know. But looking at Uber, let's go back to this one we're going to talk about. Looking at Uber and the AI taxi network and Tesla and all that stuff, the big thing for me when it comes to Uber is Uber Freight. And if Uber Freight can get AI down, that would be a freaking game changer. That is one massive thing. Why'd you change your candles? So I'm testing and messing around with an indicator. So it's called the Go No Go trend. So this is from Go No Go charts. I think it's free on trading. It's free on TrendSpider, but you have to pay for it outside of it. All it does is condenses Bollinger Bands mixed with like Keltner channels and overall trend. These are my normal candles though, but I've just been messing with them for the past couple of weeks, trying to back test them so that I can see if it's worth it for you guys to potentially use it or not. It's kind of my goal. I'm like the guinea pig. Are you buying Apple soon? No. If Apple ever hits $100, I'm buying it for sure. MDMA is life-changing. It definitely is. Should talk about Chinese companies, EV companies already. NIO or XPeng. I would not touch any Chinese companies long-term. Personally, I've seen firsthand what happened with Luckin Coffee. I've seen what happened with EDU. I wouldn't touch it. Honestly. Let me see. What do you think for the next week of trading for TS? Oh, for Tesla. I think we have to hold 700. I think we will. If not, we're dropping to 6 very, very quick. Would you buy FUV? It's a Eugene-based EV micro-mobility. Anthony, I actually have no clue anything about it. So I don't want to pretend I do. Looks like classic, honestly, looks like a classic market crash. We can talk about that another thing, but a market cycle. I don't know enough about it. But if you want, I can do a long-term analysis video on it. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Actually, we can do that. We'll do that in like a couple of minutes if you guys are interested. Long-term standpoint on NVIDIA and Delta. I love Delta. I think airlines will continue to do very, very well this year. NVIDIA, semiconductors in general are a little iffy. They're a little iffy. Just with how things are right now, I don't think NVIDIA is undervalued. I would be buying NVIDIA at $118 if it hits that. I don't think it's undervalued. I think it's a great company, but it's not enough of a low value for me. If it goes lower, all right, guys, let me pee. Type your questions. Let me pee, and I'll be like two minutes, literally. Hang on. Alrighty, right, and we're back. You know, live streaming is pretty crazy to think that there's 250 people here. And like, talking to 250 people in a room would be a lot different than talking to 250 people like in my office, which is pretty cool. All right, your last buy for Tesla will be 600. If it goes lower, will you continue to DCA? Probably not. So this is really important. Talk about this too. First time I watched you live, someone went to pee. Dude, I gotta pee, man. So, okay. This goes for trading as well as investing. You have to build a position, right? You have to build a position. If you guys watch this channel a lot, you know when I started my Tesla position, I started by buying $10,000 worth at $1,000 because I was expecting to potentially get a breakout up to $1,200. My goal was, if we break out, I'll probably make about $1,000. If we don't, it's going to be a long-term position that I'm building. You have to have these requirements and this plan set up before you start throwing money at something, right? So my goal was a $70,000 to $80,000 position in Tesla, right? That was my goal. So I started with $10,000 at $1,000. I grabbed another 10,000 at 800 and another 10,000 at like 930, 940, and then another 20,000 at $854. And we took a massive shit. So my plan is to buy another $10,000 worth tomorrow. If we hit 600, another 20,000, so I'll be at my full position size of $70,000. If we were to snap $600, I'm not buying any more Tesla unless we hit $400. Which I don't think will happen. But still, I'm not. And that's the other thing, you guys have to remove emotions as well. Right? A lot of people, when I say things like Tesla, $600 or Tesla, they're like, dude, bullshit, this is ridiculous. Like, it's not impossible. Is it improbable? Probably. But is it impossible? Not at all, man. I've seen some crazy shit happen. You know what I mean? SPCE, I personally would not touch it. All listening to you, my G, all ears should be proud. Thank you, man. Shopify, I like, Peters. Honestly, I would be investing in it long term. So yeah, going back, let's talk about building position. You have to be building a position. That's the biggest thing. Building a position, knowing how much you're willing to put in, and then scaling your buying positions, even for trading stocks. Like, even for trading, that's the same thing. Did you wash your hands, Victor? No, I didn't. But it's all good, because the only thing I touched was myself. I didn't touch anything else. Rivian, I would not be buying Rivian long term, to be quite honest. I really wouldn't. Is it undervalued short term? Can it be a huge potential return in the future? Yes. But I personally wouldn't. Visa, I really like Visa. I would be buying Visa. What are the technical signals of a bottom? Boom. He licked his hands clean. Probably. Yeah, okay, so, all right, so what are the technical signs of a bottom? Toby, let's fucking go. Good question. All right, so technical signs of a bottom. Can anybody tell me any technical signs of a bottom? Ask you guys. If not, we'll go over it. And also hit the like button and share this bad boy. We'll do more of them. What do you think Tesla stock split ratio is going to be? 20-1, 5-1. Oh man, this is really good too. We can also talk about why a stock would split. All right. Low volume, inflow, convergence, divergence is okay. Very, very good. Okay, so a divergence is one of the easiest ways to start to tell. Okay, so does Pete sound like Spider-Man? Dude, you know, this is the weirdest thing, right? I've gotten, before I showed my face, I've gotten a lot of people saying I sound like Tom Holland, and I've had a lot of people say, which I don't think at all, I sound like Jonah Hill. I don't think I sound like any of them, but I'll take it as a compliment. Thank you. Okay, so looking at trying to find a bottom. Peter Parker, yes, sir. Trying to find a bottom. When I think of a bottom, and when we're looking at technical analysis for a bottom, divergence is going to be one of the first things you're going to notice, right? So a divergence is going to occur. Let's look at PayPal because we have one happening now. A divergence is going to occur when a stock is making a lower low. So I'll use this trend line here. Stock is making a lower low, but the RSI is making a higher low. So you can see that we made a low here on February 21st, and then PayPal made another low this week. But the RSI, the relative strength index, which all it is showing you is the strength of the trend, made a higher low. And when we have this, it's called a divergence. And this would be specifically a bullish divergence. That is one of the first signs that this trend, this downward movement, is starting to weaken. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to just recover automatically, right? It just means that at the end of the day, this is showing that the downward movement is starting to become weaker and weaker. Now, the more that we create a divergence, so if that happened twice or 3 times or 4 times, that's extremely important there as well. So descending wedge is a good one. A divergence is a very, very good one. Low volume is a very, very good one. Picked up by high volume, kicking the thing back up. But timing bottoms is not easy, right? Timing a bottom, like, I don't try to time bottoms much. Did you buy a lot of Amazon? I did not buy any today. I was not really on the computer today, but if we're back at 2,000 tomorrow, I will be buying some. Let's talk about Sava. Will Netflix bounce back? I don't think so. I think Netflix is going to drop to $100. So, SoFi, I would be buying SoFi. Cassava, oh my god, I'm about to throw up in my mouth. I didn't even realize Sava was all the way down here at 17. Cassava is another one of those companies. Like, Dean, you know way more about Cassava than I do. From a fundamental standpoint. But they're one of those one-trick ponies, right? Like, depending upon what happens with this Alzheimer drug, the stock could go up to $300-400. If not, it's a one-trick pony. Long term, it's like rolling dice. You know what I mean? So I'd be careful. QYLD, I love QYLD. I think it's phenomenal. If you want something solid, I'd be buying the shit out of it right now. Why would you not touch SPCE? I want to go long because SPCE is not a business right now. They're not a business, right? This is the best way I can explain this to you guys, and some of you might get mad. Investing in SPCE today is like investing in Tesla in 2009. When Tesla had the Roadster, they could produce like 500 cars, and it was not a business. It was an idea. They had a good leader. They had great visionaries, but it wasn't a business. Like, you couldn't have, at the time, scaled Tesla to what it's become now. And Virgin Galactic is like that. It's an idea. It's not a business. It's not a company at this point. So that's why I won't invest in it. But QILD, I love that bad boy. It's really good. What is the settings of your volume profile? Let's go to indicators and volume by price. So I just have my VWAP turned off. This is going to be by view. So if you see here, let me go back. Let's go to my daily and let's zoom out. So you can see here, this line, this dotted line, this is my volume profile. So I can move it manually. I just have it set to 1 year. So I can like move it back and forth. I have it set to 1 year. So I have it set right now to like May 12th, 2022 or 2021. Lucid, please. Lucid is not something that I would be touching long-term here. Looking at the chart, however, this thing is really, really beaten up. And ironically, coincidentally, I should say, not ironically, there are some big buys today. So short-term, we could see a pump in Lucid, but not something I would touch long-term. And I will do full breakdowns on these too. On a lot of these companies, if you guys want, on my other channel. Are you buying stocks during the red days or you wait? I am waiting for a lot of stuff. I have deployed about $100,000 long-term in capital, and I plan to, long-term, I plan to throw another 100,000 in. So I'm about 50% of my long-terms in right now. Robinhood's up 30% after hours. Whew. It's insane that Robinhood is up 30% and it's just like a little tick. Robinhood personally is not a company I would ever touch either. It really isn't. Square long term. I like Square long term. Okay, let's go through brief, very, very, very brief fundamental analysis. Okay, very, very brief how I do fundamental analysis. And I'll do a longer term one. QILD gives 50 cents every month dividend, just FYI. Yeah, man, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I love it. You're not going to make massive money on the actual, like, holding the ETF, but still. Okay. Fundamental analysis. Throw me a company you want me to do fundamental analysis on, briefly. We're going to look at, like, basically some pretty staple things that we should be watching. Now, I pay for Morningstar, but you can use anything, right? Like you can use volume profiles gold, dude. I love it. Yeah, you can use anything. Like I used to use Yahoo Finance or Nasdaq, and just look at the Nasdaq. Small Direct Club, Microsoft, Tilray. Okay, Tilray and Small Direct Club both bleed money, so we're gonna use Microsoft as one because you'll see why. All right, so number one, if the company is not profitable, it's basically a gamble, in my opinion, personally, right? So for me, on balance volume, I love OBV. If you take the free course, I talk about it. Let me get the free course for you guys. It's completely free. It's no bullshit. I'm not one of those people who's gonna be like, sign up for my free course. I'm gonna fucking annoy you every day. Okay, here you go. So when I perform technical analysis or I should say fundamental analysis, I really don't like to invest in companies that are bleeding money. Ironically, all of the companies that I'm invested in right now are bleeding money because it's such a ridiculously good deal. And if I were to lose the $100,000 that I have invested, I don't care. Right? It's not like I'd be fucking upset, but it's not going to destroy me. Right? It's the most important thing. You shouldn't be investing in what would destroy you. Biggest holding long term right now is PayPal. And it's not because I believe in it that much. It's just because it's that beaten up. So, looking at Microsoft, a couple of key things to look at, right? Number one is we price to book value. Okay. Does it have a dividend? I'm not a dividend investor. I really don't care about dividends. If you want to be investing in dividends, you can do like QILD or something like that. But the dividend is 1%. Market cap is 1.9 trillion, which is insane. Obviously we know what the company does and who they are. Fair value is 352. Last close is 260. Fair value is always going to be different. I can teach you guys how to do that in another video. Uncertainty of them is very medium. Economic moat. Does anyone know what an economic moat is? Or does anyone not know? I should say what an economic moat is. Do I invest in ETFs for a solid portfolio foundation? I do not, but this is my job, right? I would say for 90% of people, it would be good to invest in ETFs long term. No. Okay, a wide economic moat is basically how easily could the competition put you out of business, right? So let's say that we sell tires. We're a tire shop. We have a very slim economic moat because there are so many people out there who sell tires, who can create tires, and who can knock us out of the market, right? So we want to invest in something that has a wide economic moat. So like Apple has a wide economic moat. They sell phones, they sell computers, they have a bank now. Like they've you can have a bank account through them. They sell wearables, headphones. Like that's a very wide economic moat. Now, something I don't want to forget about here either, and this is not going to be that important for some of these bigger companies, but for a smaller company, it's very important, especially if you're planning to buy like an actual company. When I get into more like private acquisition stuff, I'll talk more about this, but it's looking at how much of their revenue comes from a certain section. So one of the reasons I didn't invest in Skyworks Solutions like 2-3 years ago, maybe 4, was because Skyworks Solutions, 40% of their business came from Apple. So if Apple ended up cutting their chips out of the phones, they're going to lose 40% of their business overnight. That's something I don't want. I want a wide economic moat. Now, obviously, from a business standpoint, you guys know what Microsoft does, but you have to understand how the company makes money. That's the most important thing. How the company makes money and how the company will continue to make money and continue to make better and better profit margins over the years, right? So Why was Tesla burning so much money, a couple of years ago? Why was it so hard for them to become profitable? Right? It's because they couldn't make their cars cheap enough, because they weren't building them on a high enough scale. When you start going with scale, that's how you're able to make a fucking t-shirt for 3 cents, right? Because you're, number one, probably as terrible as it is using slave labor, but number two, you're also just mass producing these things. So as Tesla or any company can produce more and more and more and more and more, they're going to be ordering in bulk. The assembly is going to become a lot more streamlined, and they're going to be able to save more and more money on the product, therefore selling it for right now more than what they were selling it before, and then they're going to keep more money in the short term and long term. So that's one thing I look at. What does the company do? How can the company scale? How can they scale profit margins? Now, financials are extremely important. Looking at the financials, there's a couple of things you want to see, right? Number one, you want to see revenue go up. We're not buying a company that is scaling down in revenue. This is a fucking banger of a question, GQ. Does Tesla have a wide economic moat? Yes, I think they do, because they're a car company, okay? They're a technology company. They're a robotics company, right? And they're a cloud company. They're all four of those things. So it's like, if the automotive went out of business, they have a ton of other things that they can do, which it's not going to, but I'm just saying, they do have a wide economic moat. So we want to see revenue go up year over year. So you can see 2019 revenue was 125 billion. 2020 revenue was 143 billion. 2021 revenue was 168 billion. Trend is going up. That's good. Next thing, operating income. We want to see this go up. It's going up. Net income. Guys, this is the most important thing. Net income. It doesn't matter if the company is putting in a ton of revenue if they continue to lose more and more money. That is a bad fucking sign. I'm using Morningstar, but you can use anything, Raymond. Or Ramon, or I'm sorry, I don't pronounce your name. But when a company is making more and more money year over year, but they're losing more, they have higher revenue, but they're losing money more and more every year, that is a bad sign. So that's good. Net income, 39 billion, 44 billion, 61 billion, 72 billion. Very, very good. That's what I want to see. Okay, I want to see revenues trending up. I want to see net income trending up. The next thing is the balance sheet. I want to see a 2-to-1. This is for a solid company. This is not for like if we're taking a risk here. I want to see 2-to-1, at minimum 1-to-1, total assets versus total liabilities. So that means if our total liabilities is $100 million, I need to see $200 million in the balance sheet. The reason for this is if shit hits the wall, I need the company to have cash, right? If the Roni happens again, I need to see this. I need to see that we have cash, right? If I need to also know that they have a ton of cash if they want to go buy a company, or if they want to go buy a company out of business, they need to do that. So that's one thing that's extremely important. In this instance, total assets is $344 billion. Total liability is $181 billion. That's very, very good. Let's do one on Tesla. All right. Quick, this is just how I vet a company, and then from there I really look at the company, okay? Which I'll do a full video in the future. Tesla, no dividend. I don't really care though. No dividend. Trailing 12-month revenue is 62. Market cap 754. Economic moat they have is narrow. I'd probably say it's wide. Uncertainty, very high for sure. It's a very volatile stock. They're saying fair value is 750. I think fair value is probably about 750, so it does make sense. So here's the issue with Tesla long term. Not long term, but where we are kind of right now. In order for me to be buying Tesla long term, which I am, I would really, really, really want the company to be at like $350 a share. You know what I mean? $350 a share. That's a phenomenal buy. But we're buying this company for the future. So that's why I'm going in right now. But the valuation is so freaking rich. I'm not even going to lie. It is very rich. Looking at revenue, great growth. Okay. 24 billion 2019, 31 billion 2020, 2021, 53 billion. So we see revenue is coming up. All right. Looking good. Operating income is going up. Net income, this is the most important thing. Net income is up massively. So if revenue went from 24 billion in 2019 to 62 billion this year, but they lost more money than ever, that is not a good sign. You know what I mean? That is not a good sign at all. So that is something you do have to be careful about. I like Tesla 350 too. I like it too. If PayPal drops 70, next support is 40. Yes, sir. Where are the premium live streams? Because I'm in the capitalist course and I've never seen them. Burns. So normally they're in the morning. Recently, over the past week, I just really haven't done any because there's really been nothing to talk about with how the market's been. So normally we would do them every single morning. And what I want to start doing is doing them at like 4 or 5 p.m. Because what I've noticed is with everybody back at work, if you are part of the Capitalist Academy, if you are a part of it, then most people aren't, like, we used to do them in the mornings when everyone was off of work. And now that, like, with how COVID's been, everyone's back at work now. So they're going to be like 4 or 5 p.m. Feds are not here to save your ass. You're here on your own until inflation. Yeah, it's very true too. Me Solo. It's very best. My new favorite presentation to anybody. My first time. Thank you. Dude, thank you so much. It means a lot. Tesla's creating army robots. It's very true. Dean, are you coming to my wedding? Does a bear shit in the woods, Dean? Yes, I am. I'll see you. What, July 2nd, right? I have it on my calendar. Yeah, and Kunj is coming too. I think Kunj is going to stay with me. I think Kendo's... Is Kendo coming? I don't know. So I just read April delivery numbers. EV in China. NIO delivered 5,074. XPEV did 9,002. LI did 4,100. Tesla only did 1,100 or 1,512. Going to be a catalyst for Tesla to go to 600 in Q2. Potentially. Could be Baby Kunj. Dude, I forgot he's so young, man. I really did. It could be though, GQ. It really could. But we'll see. It's really going to depend if big money steps in and holds the market as a whole. Right now, every piece of info that's been coming out is terrible. What is your opinion on renewable energy companies? Which are better stocks to buy? Junk, I am sorry. I really don't know dog shit about any renewable energy companies. I really don't. One thing you guys will notice about me, the longer that we do this, is that there are just some things I don't pay attention to. Right? And I'm kind of like small-minded, like in a Warren Buffett standpoint, like I don't trade crypto at all. I will perform technical analysis for people within our community, but I don't really trade it because number one, I enjoy sleeping. And I couldn't sleep with my money constantly moving overnight. Number two, the other issue as well is that for me, there's just so many scammers when it comes to crypto that people like comment under like our channel and they're like, hey, you want to invest with me and make a crypto wallet? You know what I mean? So that is something to be worried about. Honey and tea keeps your voice healthy. Dude, I need to do that. I don't know if you guys can hear my voice is like fucking ripping to shreds. I'm going to have to hop off soon. Amanda McGregor, what's up from Australia? What's up, Amanda? Thanks for the great info. Thank you so much for the support. Truly means the world. Any thoughts on MULN? I don't know anything long-term. We can look at the chart real quick and I'll hop off. I have no clue. I don't know anything about this company, but looking at this chart, I would not be buying. So Tesla is losing money with a positive net income. Not sure if I caught that correctly. No, they are not losing money. They're actually not losing money for the past couple of years, which is very good. I think we're gonna drop to 340 or 360, George. Google, I would be buying it long term. Short term, I wouldn't be touching it. All right, guys. Thanks for all the support. Hit the like button, subscribe. Check out our Discord community. It's completely free. Link in the description. Check out my Twitter. Give me a little follow. Helps me out a lot. I really want to get verified so we can stop scammers and shit. As always, guys, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, fucking thank you for everything. Like I love what I do. I love chilling. I love doing this shit. The fact that we're at like 34,000 people is nuts. Like it's nuts. Like when I think like we could sell out like just for shits and giggles, right? Capacity of Madison Square Garden. We could almost double fill Madison Square Garden with how many people are in the, like, that's just fucking nuts, man. Really is. Let me see. To provide one-on-one coaching, Zen, I do and I don't. I did for a while and I haven't just because I don't have time. But if you want to email me, the link is in the description, or DM me on Discord. We can try to figure something out. Drink some hot tea. I got it. All right, guys. Enjoy your day. Thanks for all the support. Truly means the world. Peace.